Welcome to Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Ostel. Parked in front of 13th Floor Haunted House. We'll talk about that in a second. I'll tell you who's in the car. But first, Car Con Carne, sponsored by Sopel Solar, S-O-P-E-L, solar.com. It's cold out as we're recording this. It is just uncomfortable. We're all wearing coats tonight. Winter is upon us. Now is the time to get solar panels on your home. Get them in place before the winter, nothing out of pocket. Start saving money, achieve cost certainty on your electric bill. SopelSolar.com. So as mentioned, we are in front, oh dear Lord, we are in front of 13th Floor Haunted House. What do you have there?
You want some candy?
You got some candy? I don't know if I should take candy from strangers. That's like rule number one.
Yeah,
What's a
James,
candy
I don't
cane?
know this guy. I don't know if you want to do this.
I'm an off-season dealer.
Are you interested in buying an extended warranty?
Yes, that's the right answer,
really
right?
Good, it covers all sorts of cool things. Like if you have problems, like it's like $100 for like 6 days.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. Well, thanks for the visit,
You're gonna get
guys.
Candy, look.
Candy.
Here, have candy.
Oh, thanks. This
More
is
candy.
well. This is great. Oh, thanks, Gobstoppers.
Yeah.
Probably not poisoned, but I don't really trust
Yeah,
it.
you can't guarantee that stuff these days. I don't know what just happened.
Everything has fentanyl in it, you know?
I'll take that. I'll take those gobstoppers.
Okay. All right. So
Somebody
it's-
says fentanyl.
That's a bad leaf. Don't eat leaf.
the monsters always derail things. That's what monsters do. We're in front of 13th Floor Haunted House on River Road. In the back seat is the man behind 13th Floor Haunted House. That is Bryan Kopp behind me, also responsible for the Old Joliet Haunted Prison, another fantastic haunt. Welcome, Bryan.
Hi, thank you.
The last time we talked for this podcast, it was virtual because that was just the world we're living in.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad you could jump in the back seat because we all went through the haunt, and we're going to talk about that in a second.
Awesome.
To my right, it is Frey, the man behind the band You Died, Chicago band You Died. Behind Fred, to my right and in the rear, it is Zach Spangler. Zach is a video producer, a video editor, a photographer. He is a multimedia titan. He's a part of the team that is responsible for bringing You Died to life. Cool new video on the way. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But Bryan, let's start with 13th Floor Haunted House.
Yeah.
We just walked through. I guess I'm going to throw it to our guests. Starting with Fred, what were your impressions of walking through this haunted house?
The fog at the end was a nice touch. That was my favorite part.
It's a fan favorite for
And
sure.
there was some kind of like crocodile creature that jumped out at us. That was also
There were a lot of jumping creatures.
So
quite exquisite.
There's fog in the room, but it's a simulated swamp. So you're walking through this marsh area and through lights and
very cool effect.
very cool effect. Fog and trickery. You believe? I mean, it's a mind mess up walking through there. You really think like you're wading through the water, and of course, visibility isn't what it should be. And when crocodile people or whatever that was jump out, it's quite startling.
It was our take on the creature of the Black Lagoon. It was kind of like anglerfish inspired.
And I like that they didn't have the claustrophobic. How do we call it?
We talked about that.
It's a claustrophobic always.
Well,
Yeah.
the birth canal.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term,
Yeah.
they did not have that.
None of
which
us
was
are fans
great.
of that, so we're grateful to you.
Yeah.
Zach, what was your impression walking through 13th Floor Haunted House on River Road here in Schiller Park?
Oh, I think you saw me jump quite a few times. So, yeah, my impression is pretty good. I'd say it's worth, it was definitely worth all the scares. It was good.
Thanks,
it was
man.
really
Appreciate
good.
that.
Yeah.
Now, Bryan, here's the thing. I come every year. I know there are some similar sets, and some stuff carries over year to year. This year felt a little different to me. I know that the scenes change, but there was something different, certainly year to year. 13th
Yeah,
Floor.
I mean, this is my full-time job. This is what I do all day, every day. And I have, like, a lot of the people that you saw inside the haunted house, like, that's not their only creative impact on the show. Like, the makeup manager, the performance manager, the wardrobe manager, most of them work year-round. And they have, various skill sets. Like the performance manager's name's Alessandro. He's really good with sound and lighting, so he's always programming new DMX shows or fine-tuning the lighting. Obviously the soundtrack changes every year, so we're always making those fine-tune adjustments, but then we're always trying to come up with new ways to add to the scenes or to completely redo a scene. theme it out for whatever like this year's attraction theme is. There's always a new attraction theme with new characters and makeup and everything.
So the attractions this year, Outcast Carnival,
Yep.
and All Hallows Eve. I was going to say it definitely seemed a little more clown heavy
Yeah.
than usual.
And we've avoided them for a while. They're not like my favorite. Like you got to have them every once in a while, right? Like people are
Right.
afraid of clowns.
Well, it's like Skinner still had to play Freebird every night.
Right,
You
exactly.
You got to play to
But
the
you
audience.
get sick of it, right? So we've shied away from clowns for a while, and it was finally time to bring those guys back out.
They seem to be having fun.
Yeah, it was a good reintroduction. Yeah.
And we were saying as we were waiting in line to get in, God, I wish there was another bar because Halakahiki has a little booth out front as you're waiting to go in, which is perfect. You got the heat lamps on a night like this. But we're saying, yeah, I wish there was another bar. There is another bar in the haunt, although the bartender was kind of surly.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to them about that. I apologize.
All right, here's the thing I don't like, and I say this kind of jokingly about the haunted house. All the set designs are really cool. Like they look like movie sets, and you could tell that they're really thought out. The thing I don't like is I want to spend time. Like I want to walk through there like it's a museum. Like I want to study the walls. I want to like really zero in. That's the one thing you can't do going through a haunted house because you're running for.
It's a
fear
little
of
bit
going.
easier to do on a night like tonight. Like Mondays, Tuesdays, like those are good days to go to haunted houses if they're open because it's usually not going to be crazy busy. So you're not going to wait in line forever. And usually you'll get a little bit more time to pace yourself as you walk through the haunted
Well,
house.
and I like that too. I like not stumbling on top of the group in front of me or having the group
Right.
behind us. Like it was our immersive experience and ours only.
Which
as
you're
we
not
went
going to get if you go to any haunted house on a Saturday in October.
For
like,
sure.
That's it. You're gonna see the group in front of you. You're gonna see the group behind you. You're gonna be in line for a long time.
And there's something to be said for that too. I mean, there's that fun of being in the loud groups and like
Some people prefer it.
Yeah,
they
right.
feel like safer because they can see other people around them.
Oh my God, I mentioned this on the last podcast when I went to Old Joliet Haunted Prison. Me and my friends, we got in line behind a young teenage couple on a date, and the girl seemed very nervous to go in. She said, "Oh, thank goodness. Guys, we got a bunch of dads coming in behind us, so we'll be fine." Now, to be clear, I'm a dad. It wounded me. Like suddenly I was the old guy at the haunt.
I get you.
It was a little uncomfortable. So we are here on a Monday night as we're recording. You are open through Halloween and then the 4th and 5th of November.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get to. That's what I love about this Schiller Park location. Really, just get right off 90.
It's such an improvement from our previous location in Melrose Park.
Yes, it's a lot easier to get to from all the different suburbs.
Yeah.
And which is fantastic. And one thing I realized as the three of us, as me, Fred Frey of You Died, and Zach Spangler, ZSpang, were walking through today, there are roles that groups play when they walk through a haunted house. Like there's the pole position, the person who's fearless, who kind of leads the group. Then there's the middle person, which is kind of a role of cowardice because then you're kind of...
Like pick a lane.
Right. Like you don't want to lead, but you don't want to be the last one. You're kind of safe in between the other two. Then the one brings up the rear is kind of tentative, but still it's a courageous position because there's always inevitably a character following that final person. I was the coward today. I was the one in the middle. And full credit to you, Zach, for taking lead.
I even offered to lead up for you halfway through, you know, so. But yeah, thanks.
That's very brave of you.
Yeah, you know.
So since this is your full-time concern, Brian, like the second this year's 13th floor is over, November 6th, are you concepting for next year already?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've already started.
Like, do you have like concepts for like themes that we should get to that
kind of
next
show
time?
improvements we want to do, and we've got blackout. I believe we're going to be doing a blackout this year as well, which is right after the season. Where if the regular haunted house wasn't scary enough for you, go through with the lights off, nothing but a glow stick. See if you got the courage for that.
That's cool.
Yeah. We'll get ready for Krampus.
Oh, you are doing that
We'll do it. We'll do
because you
some
didn't
sort
do
of
that last
Christmas
year,
event.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Then as soon as the Christmas event is over, we'll get ready for Valentine's. We do Love Bites. It's like a 80s vampires, Lost Boys kind of vibe. Try to make it a lot more interactive so that there's like tasks to achieve, quests to go on when you're in the haunted house.
I love it. I think a haunted house could be open year round. I mean, you could do a leprechaun thing the following month.
You don't want to oversaturate it. Still give people something to look forward to, you know?
You do a taxes thing in April.
Wow, that's scary.
That's scary. enough.
Accounts around every corner. With
I'm not trying to kill anybody, man.
Yeah, showing you your credit card receipts from Target. Oh, it's horrifying, absolutely horrifying. The Tossers could play if there was a.
Yeah, I'll see if I can round them up.
if there was a St. Patrick's Day haunted house. All right, so how long have you been doing this for, Brian? You personally, how long have you been in this?
Since the early 2000s, like 2003 or 4, I got hired as a scene actor at the House of Torment in Austin, Texas.
Oh, fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, I'm sitting here with a musician and a videographer, and myself, I've been in radio. I think you're probably a kindred spirit in that traditional desk job didn't ever quite make sense for you.
No, I mean, I got a BFA in acting. I went to school for theater.
And this, what a great way to do it all the
Yeah.
time. And keep changing it up.
Yeah.
So
No, I feel very lucky to have that opportunity because it's not often in a creative field, right? You get steady work that you can depend on. That's particularly a weird niche thing like this. Like I've always loved Halloween and horror. To be able to do that every day is amazing.
Now, unrelated to the haunted house, but specific to Halloween, does it seem to you that in neighborhoods, city and suburban, people over the past, let's say, 2 years have gone more and more all in with their yard and window
Oh, yeah.
displays, like more than I ever remember growing up?
At first, I thought it was wishful thinking, but it's definitely seems like Halloween, horror, just spooky stuff in general is a lot more popular year after year after year.
And it doesn't hurt. We're kind of in this golden age of horror movies. Like some really fantastic stuff is coming out, whether
Yeah.
it's Barbarian, which you and I were talking about earlier, or the Jordan Peele stuff. I mean, high profile.
Yeah.
Or, like we're living through a great moment.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so 13th Floor Haunted House, 5050 River Road in Schiller Park. The two themes: Outcast Carnival, again, a little heavy on the clowns, as you might expect, and All Hallows Eve. Love the cathedral type stuff and like the walking through the street. Like there's a lot of.
The tilted
The
room.
tilted room.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the tilted room.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the tilted room.
I
It's,
felt that way without the tilted room.
I know. Again, Fred Frey, musician. You died. is his band.
Not that long ago.
13th Floor Haunted House open nightly through Halloween, and then on November 4th and November 5th. Bryan Kopp, thank you for the experience. I
Yeah.
love coming here so much. This is the spooky time is
Oh, we
now.
love having
I love this is
great.
such a great annual thing we get to look forward to.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys. Thanks for coming through. What was the name of the band?
We're called You Died.
You Died. All right, I got to check it out.
And they're Halloween adjacent. Their songs
Yeah.
are vampires, Ghost in the Radio, While We're Both Still Breathing, and I've Seen Your Bones. They're Halloween adjacent.
We stay on
That
brand.
sounds
yeah.
like my kind of thing.
Exactly.
Well, cool. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Brian.
Take
Appreciate
care.
you.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you, dude. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
it was
coming.
awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I want to thank Brian again for the hospitality. It's so much fun going through this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And you got to go with friends, and it does make a lot of sense to go through in a group.
absolutely.
And it makes sense to have a little drink beforehand.
A little cocktail doesn't hurt. A little
Yeah.
spiked something or another, maybe a
Sure.
scorpion.
Having that apple cider before, that was great. Yeah.
All right, so You Died, the most recent full-length release, Demon Haunted World. Again, Halloween adjacent. I'm holding the Monsters candy cane.
Well, Demon Haunted World is actually from a Carl Sagan book, so it takes the nerd factor and goes so much deeper into that.
It does.
You have to peel all the layers away, and there's a one nerd in the center. It's like an everlasting gobstopper.
That's right. I mentioned this once on social media. You can't deny a band that gives you an ass-kicking guarantee. When
Yeah.
When You Died plays live, they guarantee to
Well,
kick some ass.
I think we guaranteed that I Love Rich was going to kick ass. We're just going to gently.
You're going to draft behind their ass kicking.
Yeah. We ride on a lot of coattails for sure.
So we were recording this on the 17th of October.
Rocktober.
The next You Died gig is at Reggie's?
Yeah, we have a little bit of a funky schedule because Dave Lugo. I should probably get over here a little bit more. Dave Lugo,
You
our
just
guitar.
made it harder to talk.
You
You just push the microphone further down.
There we go. All right, I got this.
Let me put it as far down between my legs as possible.
Dave Lugo, our guitar player, is actually on tour with Local H right now, so he's made our life very difficult. But we're so happy for him to be doing that. It's made scheduling a little bit tricky. We really tried to play a lot in this first year. This was the first year the band was actually performing.
Yeah.
So we're kind of scheduling around that. But then next year we're going to be hitting the road and doing all kinds of cool stuff. So we wanted to do this video that Zach's a part of, just so we had something going on while Dave was on his sabbatical, so to speak. So we're really excited about that. I mean, literally before we started rolling tape, Zach was showing me the latest cut, and I mean, I'm just like, I'm ready to jump out of the car and go.
Well,
It's
and-
coming
together real
traffic.
nice.
I'm
It's
so
coming together
excited.
nice.
That's what I do.
I do want to talk about the video, but for people who don't know you died, like Bryan Kopp of 13th Floor Haunted House, for instance, didn't know you died. This is big guitar rock.
It's big, dumb kind of guitar rock with catchy hooks and simple lyrics. And that's
Sold.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
what
That's
we're
the elevator
doing.
pitch we were looking
I'm
for.
a
right
drummer. I've been a drummer for 30 years, and I got sick of, you know what happens like when a drummer comes up with an idea. That's usually when a band begins its breakup period, which is what I did. But instead, I just started my own band and learned to play guitar and got together with really. I'm so lucky to be to have the band that I have.
And who's in the band?
So Ronnie DiCola, who's played in the Arrivals, who's played in every punk band that anybody's ever seen in Chicago. My dream drummer to have done this. Gabe Lipari is our bass player. He's phenomenal. Him and Ronnie actually play in another band together. And then Dave Lugo, who plays with the Avondale Ramblers, plays with Local H, has played with just about everybody too. The fact that all those guys even wanted to get involved in this was sort of confirmation that we should be doing this band. So we played our first show. You were at our first show
That was your first show at Double Door?
at Double Door. We had 2 rehearsals. We weren't even a band before that, and we just kind of hit the ground running. Been trying to do as much as we can this year. We're like, we're not in our 20s anymore, so we're trying to ride.
Although, to be fair, Fred, you look like you don't age.
Well, it's the vampire stuff.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
it helps. But we're trying to really just go full force before we get too old and sick and dead to be able to do this band. So
Zach
far,
was,
so good.
Zach was at that first show that I was at.
He was.
And is that where the bromance started?
That
Kind of a little
you
bit.
filmed
Yeah,
that,
didn't you?
I did.
Zach?
Yeah, we shot that, and I think you're right, James. It was after that because I went up to you and the guy that shoots with me, Giorgio, and I was just like, those guys are great. I have to. We got to figure something out with them, and then. A few months later, I get a call from Dave, and he's like, "Hey, you want to make a video?" And I was like, "I have to. This is serendipity. We got to do it." So,
And Zach's concept for the video was I may as well have just thought of it myself. Like it's
So the
just
song,
worked.
the song is "Ghost in the Radio,"
It is.
and it's a standout from that album that I mentioned. And a good video tells a story. I mean, the song tells a story, but the video tells a story that's very spectral and ghastly.
yeah, ghostly, haunting, if you will. Yeah.
Talk about the concept.
It was kind of it's kind of an homage to be honest, to a little bit of Sleeping Beauty and the hypnotic trances of luring in your prey to the final monster or whatever. In this case, the radio. So. That's where the concept was, and I've always been a fan of like classic horror, so I always try to go for some of those, shadowy shots and everything like that too. So it's funny when he came to me with the song that they wanted a video for. I already kind of had an idea for that song just from seeing them live, so it kind of like worked out, since then. So yeah.
And the song is really about having no religion or other spiritual affiliation. The radio sort of becomes your, this is going to sound like I'm getting too deep with this, but like the radio sort of becomes your altar, like that's your spiritual awakening.
I'm just here kneeling in front of the radio.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of did a few layups of lyrics there, but it's rock and roll, like we said before. We're not doing fine poetry here. But, I mean, that's really what it's about. It's like, having that one thing there that kind of saves you
Yep.
from whatever it is you're going through, which again, little on the deep melodramatic side.
So
but, that's how we roll, baby.
I flipped that and made it into the horrors of it too, where it's just like you get lured into this thing, and it might not be a good thing either, so that's kind of the aspect I took.
And it
with
just looks so cool too. Zach did such a great job, and
So when do people get to see this?
This is going to come out on Friday. We're trying to get this coming Friday,
which is the 21st.
The 21st.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think Zach's just finishing some like final edits on it and stuff. And this is our first video, so we wanted to make it a good one. And he sends me new cuts of it every few days.
I gotta give a shout out to my boy Giorgio at Freakorama and Sarah Giroux. They both helped like make this video look good too. And Frankie, she's our main person in the video, and she's I fucking love your hair, and she does such a.
That's the name of her business.
That's the name of her. I fucking love your hair, and you can find her. But she did such a great job and pulled through for this video for us too. So I just gotta make sure that they get some love for this too. So it wouldn't have been as awesome without them and their help with this too.
Well, I can't wait for people to see it because I've seen. I hope this is okay, Fred. I've seen an early treatment of the video.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Please,
I love it. And it was shot at Double Door, which isn't even open for business yet.
Which was the perfect spot for it.
Oh, there's a part of the video where she is kind of awoken and she's summoned up the staircase from the Double Door basement, and I realized, oh my God, this was the perfect location for that shoot.
Yeah, dilapidated building.
Yeah,
I gotta actually shout out to Sean Mulroney, the owner of Double Door, who let us
Sean.
come in there and film. I mean, Sean's been a good friend of mine for years and years, but he let us just get in there and have the run of the place and just light candles in his building and probably create a fire hazard.
Yeah, and, it worked out so well. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's really cool. Zach and Giorgio did a great job.
Once we got the lights out in there, the whole room looked like a big empty black abyss. Like,
well, that's what I was going to say. That with the candles and the radio, I didn't recognize the room.
Yeah, and that's what we were going for. We just wanted it to just seem like it was some void of an area. So yeah, it worked out so well there. Yeah.
Mulroney was like probably lurking around in the back at some of those shots somewhere too.
I'm sure if you look hard, you'll see somebody back there for sure.
See somebody back there.
I love it, and people again can see it on the You Died YouTube channel on Friday.
Yes,
Yep.
It's gonna be. We'll have links to it on all that stuff. You know, we're real social media savants.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
that.
So we got that.
I know that.
We got that shit down.
And we'll just be
Come
asking
on.
for
We're
everybody
talking
to share it once they see it, and hopefully they like it and they add it to their Halloween playlist coming up.
And the performance, the story is great, and the visuals are great. What also comes through is the sheer rockosity of You Died. I mean, you guys.
There's quite a
guys
bit of
kicked ass.
rockosity there. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm so having written all these songs by myself and not really knowing what I was going to do with them, to have those dudes behind me, to have Zach getting involved in this. Honestly, our mutual friend Andy Gerber, who is kind of an unofficial fifth member of the band.
We have a lot of cleanup to do after this episode. So many names were dropped.
Yeah.
Since we started.
I got more. I'll bring you more names. I got all of them. Anyway.
But I'm glad that Gerber got a mention.
Yeah, well, okay. You could cut out the Sean part. We got to keep Gerber in there, too. I love that man.
Gerber stays.
I owe him money. I love you, Andy Gerber. Come to me.
All right, so again, You Died, the video for Ghost in the Radio will be available on Friday the 21st. Share it, as Zach said. Really just awesome. I see this all the time on the podcast to the point where people are sick of it. I'm surprised that more artists aren't throwing themselves into music video creation. It seems like the right time for all that.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
great.
I didn't know that they weren't. I mean, I thought that's just part of the cost of entry for being in a band.
Well,
but
lyric videos are common. They don't count.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I do see a
But
lot
actual
of
like storytelling, like old school, like the videos when you were watching the video for
Little
you've got another
shorts.
thing coming.
that. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are a little bit old school in that way. Like we're trying to hang on to some of the cool bits of the 80s and 90s and beyond.
That's
And
what was
hopefully
awesome.
this is another aspect of that, because goddamn, if people aren't doing this kind of thing, it's cool, it's fun.
Yeah.
If you're in a band, do a video. It's
Do it.
fun.
Since you are
It's a
old
great way
school
to get creative, you know.
and 80s-ish, can we talk about the Twilight Zone cover?
Oh hell yeah, that cover. So that was a cover
So
that I
good.
picked. I don't know if you remember the video for Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, Golden Earring off the album cut.
I saw that as like an adolescent boy, and there's a scene where one of the dudes is tied up to the chair, and kind of like those sexy ladies come in. And I remember as like an 8 or 9 year old seeing those girls come in, and thinking, I
want to be the guy in the
I
chair.
like their outfits. I don't really know why. I'm a little bit hungry watching this, but not really. So as far as like the demon haunted world goes, that theme for the record, like that's another demon that haunted me all my life, was like the girls from that video. Why were they there? Why did I like them so much? And can someone give me their numbers? And that's where that came from. But it's a great song too.
It's
I mean,
a great
I love
song.
the Twilight Zone.
And it's kind of a ballsy thing to cover because it's such a familiar song. But
Yeah.
I think you put your own spin on it. You lean harder on the guitars, I think. Than
Yeah,
Golden Earring did.
it's definitely a heavier version of that song. But you know, Dave, our guitar player, he likes to stay true to the source material. So we didn't really deviate too much. I think it's a little bit faster, but yeah, he wails on that solo. That was a rough solo to pull off. That's a rough song to pull off for everybody, but it's great. And it's not what's the Golden Earrings? Why am I drawing?
Radar Love?
Radar Love. We didn't phone it in with Radar Love. At least we brought out Twilight Zone. Come on.
Yeah.
Hell yes. And again, this is a guitar band. This is a guitar rock band. I mean, Plain Doll, that's a song where the lead guitar is MVP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the song. So we also, I'm glad you brought that up, because we also we have a lot of real nerd culture influence in our music. That song is straight up about a video game. I mean, no bones
What
about it.
video game?
It's about a game called Bloodborne, which is actually a part of the Dark Souls series. I mean, you know James, right?
Sure.
Of course, but it's
Big gamer.
actually a game about making lots of mistakes and having to like learn from those mistakes and get better. So it's all allegorical bullshit, you know, whatever. Self-indulgent musician bullshit, but it's really all just about video games and horror movies. So
You are horror adjacent. I mean, just looking
We
at
are
the titles, I'm
horror
like, oh,
adjacent.
I get this.
Yeah.
It's a rock band that's
Well,
sings about
actually,
vampires.
and actually, the name "You Died" is a straight up video game reference. I mean, you name a nerd avenue that we could go down, and we definitely went there, all wrapped in the guise of like a scary rock band. But you know, we're a bunch of dorks.
What about comic books?
Comic books, you know, I never really was into comic books.
We
that
should hang
much
out more.
as a kid. As a kid, why were you not
We
a
can get-
comic
No,
book?
I totally am. I'm
Oh,
here
so
to help.
you need to educate
Yeah.
me. Science fiction movies, horror movies, video games, like just nerdy music and all that kind of shit. Yes. For some reason, all my friends were into comic books
You'll fit
growing
right
up.
into the
I never.
comic book
I can't
world.
read.
All right. So again, Zach, you and your partner Giorgio Reyes, who is, well, besides being devastatingly handsome, super talented guy,
Super handsome.
super pro to work with. You guys put together this video. I can't wait for people to see it. It is You Died.
It's sharp looking.
It is sharp looking. I can't wait to see more from you guys.
I
too.
got a good looking band too. I'm sorry.
coming.
I mean, besides me, obviously.
It is a handsome crew.
It is a handsome
Yeah.
crew.
You guys pulled through. It was good.
Is the concept of a lady killer still a thing?
I don't
It'd
know.
be horror-like.
But these guys got Instagram rumps, man, and I plan on exploiting them. We were talking about this. TikTok, baby. You Died's coming for you. Look out.
Some seriously tight glutes,
Yeah,
ready for prime time.
Coordinated dancing.
You
I'm
Died
so
is
sorry.
You Died is probably the most ass-tastic band in Chicago right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, that's reviewed by the Chicago Tribune.
You Died is the band. Zach Spangler in the backseat, video pro. You can check out his photos, his videos, his work on Instagram, ZSpang,
Yep. At ZSpang.
ZSpang.
Yep.
You_died_music is your.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it rolls off the tongue. You_died_music on Instagram.
Yes, on Instagram and similar on Facebook. You can find us on, if you just go to youdiedmusic.com, there are links to all of our social media
Is it a link
outlets.
tree?
There is
Is
it's like, to take your words, it's tree adjacent.
It's in the garden.
It is in the garden.
It's in the garden. Okay, fantastic. You Died. Fred, thank you. Zach, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
again, I've got to thank 13th Floor. I love this time of year. I think we all agree, like, fall is the best. Halloween time is the best. Like, we live for
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well this
was
is. I
great.
mean, this is my band. If we're not doing shit around Halloween, we're not doing anything. So
Right.
We're in it. We're invested.
All right,
sure.
so thank you, 13th Floor. Thank you, You Died. Thank you, Zach Spangler.
Thanks again.
Thank you for watching and listening. And if you enjoyed this, or at least tolerated it, please share and tell a friend.